Exactly. The genesis of this, well, there's a lot of things that were sort of genesis, but there were conversations that happened several years ago with Yahoo PayDirect, which PayDirect International, which is very similar to PayPal, and I knew some of the folks over there, and I just am interested in currency trading, and I'm interested in transactions and settlement, and of course I came out of the wholesale minutes world, right? So I could see how dysfunctional and separate everything is, and how much time that takes, people time, lawyer time, provisioning time. So for me it's been a journey, as a system, a series of remove the local loops, create a physical interconnection point. There's efficiency there. The voice peering fabric. Now at the IP level, use Ethernet and VLANs to establish virtual connections instead of having to run hardwired cross connects. Then go beyond that into where Srihari's taken it today, the routing engine and the financial settlement. And then, like what you were just talking about, look at how this conference has changed. Look who's here. Social networking community people are here, talking about resolution of individuals within communities and profiles. I could see the correlation from enum and SRV, because those are identifiers to us, your telephone number, your email address, mine, etc. But this goes into a completely different level. And I think that we all have to do a lot of thinking about it, because it can go in a lot of directions from here. And they're all very successful directions. The question is, where do you want to spend your time? Developing what?
So we can expect Allied Voice to be next from onto Newby?
No. Allied Fiber is a construction project, yeah. And I'm going to enjoy doing that, and it's probably going to take me 18 months to 2 years to get the whole thing actually physically built and all. But I'll be involved in these other things during that time. And like I said, it's just fascinating to watch this whole thing evolve. I won't be back in the voice business though, not me. No. Matter of fact,
you've heard it here first.
Yeah, another conversation. Well, okay, let's talk about voice in the traditional sense. Making money from minutes, dead. I don't see it. I mean, I could see how the announcement with Reliance is huge. Reliance went into the VPF enum community, built their own community, loaded in their numbers from India, and are setting the rate to terminate directly to those numbers and broadcasting it to the world and saying, we're on the VPF, come and get it. Okay, so there's still a rate per minute to terminate. That's just how
as long as the rate is low, people don't care about that.
That's just how they choose to be paid as a carrier to reach their endpoints. But think about it. This is now out there in the public domain. Enterprises, companies, will be able to administer their own endpoints as they wish, as they see fit. And I don't know, but I've long speculated that companies don't care about getting paid for people to call them. They do something else. They're a law firm, they're an accounting firm. You called, Gary. Gary's not charging you per minute to call him. There's somebody in between that does that. I think that enterprise voice over IP WAN infrastructure will be connected into communities of interest just like this, and they will usurp the traditional IXC business for minutes that we've known. And I think that's the part that sort of goes away.
Are you saying that they're going to...
providers as well, right?
Yeah, application providers, any communities of interest, that's what I mean. There'll be new ones created like the Second Life idea, but the ones that exist currently today that have to pay a toll to go between their islands will very easily be able to go around that. They always have, I say always. For the past several years, this was technologically possible, but the developments in the way the VPF works have made it much easier to understand, because now it's really open. You don't have to be connected to the VPF like in a layer 2 sense. For a lot of people, it was difficult for them to justify that. Now you can just you can create your own partitioned registry, essentially, and set your own rules. It's great.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So do you think enterprises are going to start charging? Is that where you were going with that?
No. I think enterprises are just going to say, hey, you know what? Why don't we just take our endpoints and put it into the system and tell everybody we're here? It's just like Facebook or something, be my friend, connect to me.
Right.
So it's company XYZ, and they've got 15,000 employees. All right. Well, what do we have to do to put this on net? Well, we have a media gateway, and we set up a session, and we take our endpoints, and we establish them in the registry, and then basically we open it up to people that want to, query our endpoints and establish the sessions over the path. And we choose the path. Maybe the path of the public internet, maybe the path's layer 2.
Now, is there an opportunity here for I don't know if this is one of the business ideas you came up with, but for somebody to aggregate all of these various user IDs on all the various networks and the charges and the costs? And so, for example, you go to a website and then I find your avatar on XYZ virtual world, and I click on his avatar and I see that it's 2 cents a minute, and really the operator is charging, or the community of interest is charging a service provider 1 cent a minute, but I pay 2 cents a minute because someone's making money on that because they're interconnecting me with that network?
Yes. You just said like 3 things. Yeah. There's somebody that can, companies can go out and aggregate endpoints and pool them together and basically charge a management fee.
So it's like the new white pages.
Could be. It's an interactive, functional directory. A vertical could be identified, and a VAR or an ASP could go in, define the vertical, reach out to every one of those people, aggregate all their endpoints, and make them one master community.
Sure.
And everybody would say, okay, because they just all became on net to each other.
Sure.
And the whole thing just disappears off PSTN like that. That was one thing. You also said another thing that I thought was fascinating. Remember 976 numbers? And you could basically write a program, and the Bell did it, and you would set up a number, you market the number, and then you split the difference with them. They would say, this is your cost for your T1 and whatever. And then, it's like an information service, and you charge people to call.
Sure.
Anybody can do that now, okay? And they don't need the Bell. So again, back to Second Life. Let's say I'm an information service provider, and I set up a store in Second Life. You don't need to have a store, but I'm just saying for visual purposes. I set up a store, and I want to be reached, okay? And if someone reaches me for the piece of information, I want to set a rate for how much that's worth. So let's say it's $10, and I'm going to tell you something. You could go in, create a community of interest in the registry, and set up the whole thing. The economics of it, settlement, everything, done.
So the deal is you can set up a consulting business.
Right.
10 minutes for them people to ask you questions.
Sure.
Bill me. The whole thing's done.
But let me see if I understand though correctly, because let's say I'm a Cablevision customer or something like that,
by the way,
and our
you and I
producer
have to be on the panel.
I know, we got to go.
I was going to say our producer is flagging us.
Yeah, we
producer,
must go.
How much time do we have, Mr. Producer?
Like
We have 1 minute.
1 minute.
All right, so we've got 1 minute. So, and I lost my train of thought. So here's the question: if I'm a Cablevision customer and I'm calling in, how does that get billed on my? That shows up as a $10 charge on my Cablevision bill?
No. What I just said is the future.
Oh,
it's
so that's hypothetical.
Yeah, it's not there right now. That's not the purpose of what Srihari just did. But it could get to that
a business
point.
idea
Yeah,
in
it's
the
to develop
future.
something on top of this infrastructure. This is just a structure. It's a steel structure. You could make the exterior look like anything you want.
Okay, so let's just go through some web addresses. Gary, where are the places that you work again? We know we work for TMCnet.
Google me.
Google me?
Google Gary Kim.
Gary Kim. Are you the only Gary Kim that shows up on Google?
Yeah.
I'll be the first.
You got a lot of links, man. Gary got a lot of links.
Hunter Newby.
HunterNewby.com, or just Google me.
And for me, tmcnet.com or Tehrani.com. Thanks once again. We're coming to you from the Voice Peering Forum, summer 2008, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.